Good morning, everybody. Meteorologist Blake Matthews here. We are dealing with a heavy rain event here across the Houston area, and it's going to last, it looks like, over the course of several days, taking us all the way through Thursday. The reason for that, we have a tropical system just off the coast of Texas that may end up developing. We'll show you that coming up here in just a second. But in the meantime, we do have a flash flood watch in effect for our coastal and central counties. This does include all of Metro Houston here, taking us all the way through Wednesday afternoon and likely to be extended into Wednesday night and into Thursday. Now, here's a look at the radar. You can see very heavy rain along the coast. We're talking down along from Freeport to Galveston all the way up through the Bolivar Peninsula. And we're seeing that rain now beginning to encroach here on the I-10 corridor as well. So it looks like it is just a wet start to your Tuesday area wide, maybe a little bit drier out here towards our northern counties, but I think everybody's going to get in on the rain as we head into the afternoon. So here's a look at the radar right now as it stands from High Island to Crystal Beach, out through Galveston Bay, Baytown, Pasadena, Channelview, Pearland, League City, Dickinson, Friendswood, you name it, all the way down through Brazoria County, getting into Angleton and Lake Jackson, Freeport, and looks like moving into West Columbia now as we speak. There is the broader system right there, a 30% chance of development according to the National Hurricane Center. And again, even if this were to develop into a weak tropical depression or a weak tropical storm, the results along the upper Texas coast will be exactly the same. We're talking about very heavy rain. This is not going to be a wind event, even if this were to become a named storm. You can see why we're so concerned. Take a look at the rainfall totals here. This is brand new, just coming in within the last hour. Not pointing out any one area, but it doesn't take, you don't have to look very hard to see some blockbuster rainfall amounts showing up here on the computer model. 12, 9, 21 inches down, showing up there in Angleton and Brazoria County. So I'm not saying that that is exactly what we're going to see, but the bottom line is if you're in this yellow shading, it is possible we could see 8, 9, 10, 11 inches of rain, some areas even more than 15 inches over the course of the next 3 days. Now we have a couple of things going for us. First off, it's at least raining lightly right now, and the second thing is we're very dry, so we should be able to absorb a lot of this rain over the course of the next couple of hours. Unfortunately, if we start getting rainfall rates 2, 3, 4 inches of rain per hour, then that ground will not be able to absorb it very quickly, and most of it will turn to runoff, and that's when we'll begin to see some street flooding around the area. So we'll continue to watch this. We could very well see some water rises coming up on the bayous. We could see it coming up on the area's streams and rivers. Again, where this is not going to be, at least right now, we don't think it's going to be a widespread inundation of the city, but we could see some of those usual suspect spots. We're talking about, think I-45 north at Main Street. That's usually a very low spot that likes to pond. A lot of the feeder roads, Tidwell, Parker, Gulf Bank, up there along the North Freeway as well. There's many other areas that are going to see a lot of ponding as well. And right now it appears the closer you are to the immediate coast, the heavier the rain totals are going to be. The further to the north, you can see up here towards Huntsville and Livingston, 2 to 3 inches of rain. Here across the central corridor, we're talking about 6 to 8 inches of rain, maybe even a little better than that. And it's along the immediate coast in our coastal counties, Chambers, Galveston, and Brazoria, where we could really see those tallies begin to stack up. So over the next couple of days here, we're talking about a 60 to 70% chance of showers and thunderstorms for today, 80% chance heading into Wednesday and Thursday, and virtually we could go ahead and make this about 100%. It is going to rain as we head into your Wednesday and Thursday. And things begin to dry out a little bit as we get into Friday. Saturday and Sunday, we return to normal with temperatures back in the lower 90s. But the bottom line is very heavy rain continuing to move in our general direction. This is going to be something that we're going to watch very carefully over the next couple of hours as this tropical system, remember, whether it develops or not, is going to produce very heavy rain along the upper Texas coast. That's why we do have that flash flood watch in effect starting today at 1 o'clock, and that's going to take us all the way through Wednesday evening, and this is likely going to be extended, Reka, as we get into your Thursday. So again, this is a multi-day event that we're going to be watching very carefully. And again, some of these areas that the usual suspect spots are going to see trouble first. But as I mentioned earlier, the good news is that we are bone dry. The bad news is that bone dry ground is like concrete, and if we get too much rain too quickly, it runs off pretty fast, and we could see some flooding issues even sooner than anticipated. So I think everybody needs to be weather aware over the next couple of days. Now, looking out the window right now, it's raining lightly. And that's good. Yeah. But we need the rain. And I know a lot of people are excited about that. What we're not excited about is 15 inches of it too quickly.
Yeah, that is always scary. We worry about flash flooding, but even driving in this rain. Hi everyone, by the way, I'm Rekha Muttaraj.
Right.
Good morning. It's 9:15 on this Tuesday, and of course we're talking about the rain if you're just joining us now. But this is going to be an issue for the next couple of days. We are asking people, just from a safety standpoint, turn on your headlights so see and be seen. Be careful. Drive
lots of distance between
lots of distance,
right.
so you have plenty of room to brake. And also, flash flooding always an issue because, especially for folks who are not maybe familiar with this kind of weather in the Houston area. People will say, I'm from Seattle, I can handle rain. No,
right. You have not seen rain, baby.
It's different, yes.
Yeah,
and the flash flooding is a big concern because sometimes you can misjudge just how deep the water is and get stuck in your vehicle.
Absolutely. And gosh, we flood so quickly here.
Yes.
I called out a few spots, and the only reason why I called out the spots that I did is because I travel that corridor. Living in the Woodlands, I pass through the Gulf Bank area and Tidwell and Parker, and every single time it rains, it's like a river. Those feeder roads become impassable. So I'm familiar with those areas. I-45 at Main Street, always almost impassable every time we get a heavy rain event. And there's many of those areas. You're from I think you're in Fort Bend County is where you are. And I'm sure you could call out several streets to get down there that pond very quickly. And of course the same can be said whether you're in Galveston County, Brazoria County. We're going to see this area wide. And I'm really focused on areas south of I-10. I really think that's where the big trouble is going to be if we see it. Fingers crossed. There are a couple of computer models, by the way, that do keep the heaviest of the rain out towards Sabine Pass, getting into Orange and Beaumont in southwest Louisiana. We certainly don't want any ill will for our friends to the east.
Yes.
We just don't necessarily want it in our backyards either. So it's something we're going to continue to watch. But yeah, I mean, back to your point, we flood very quickly. Those feeder roads, those side roads, those secondary streets are always the first to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And just so, in case people are just joining us, just to wrap up, we're going to take it day by day. So the next thing, we all made it to work. I think most of us made it to work pretty easily. But thinking about the evening commute and also thinking about, I'm thinking about when my kids are going to be picked up from school around 3 or 4 o'clock. So what's the rain going to be like then, just so we can take it kind of hour by hour?
So this area of low pressure in the Gulf of Mexico that's sparking all the rain, that may end up becoming a tropical depression or a tropical storm. And I know that sounds really scary. Ooh, a tropical storm.
Yeah.
This is not a situation. It's not a wind event.
Okay, that's good.
But when you hear tropical storm, the first thing that comes to my mind, and probably yours, Allison.
Yep.
Right. So we saw with Allison, 35 inches of rain fell within 2 or 3 days. We saw what that did to the city. Allison was the benchmark for flooding before Harvey, and Allison was only a tropical storm. So I'm not saying this is an Allison event. I want to make that clear. I'm not saying this is an Allison event. I just want you to understand that we could see some significant flooding somewhere, especially along the coast. Everybody wants to know what's it going to do in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Very hard to say. In fact, it's absolutely impossible. This is kind of an hour-by-hour situation.
Well, let's check in with Brandon. He's on the ones and twos. He's actually directing all of this now. So Brandon, you said that there are Facebook questions that people are asking about the weather, specific ones?
Yeah, we have a couple people that are looking for their general region, but we have a question from Liz. She's saying it's halfway up the coast. Do we know when it would develop?
Within the next 24 to 48 hours, but again, it's all nomenclature. I don't think we care at this point whether it's going to develop or not. The only reason why we would care about this is because the stronger the system becomes, the more concentrated the rain becomes around the center, and therefore it focuses a little bit closer to Houston.
Okay.
Now, see, right now, think of like an ice skater. You have this loose system with lots of rain, and the bands are kind of way out here, towards Beaumont and Louisiana, whatever. But as that ice skater brings her arms in, everything consolidates around her. Same thing with a developing tropical system. The stronger it gets, the closer that rain gets to the center of circulation, and the more focused it becomes. So in that regard, if it develops, it could become a little bit more of a problem for Houston. But as long as it stays weak and diffuse as it is, it's really going to be hard to tell who gets the heaviest rain. I think somebody's going to end up with 15 inches of rain before it's said and done.
Wow.
It's just where does that
Yeah.
If 15 inches falls over downtown Houston, that's a problem. If it falls over unincorporated Matagorda County, not so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a really good analogy with the ice skater. Any other questions, Brandon?
Yeah, Blake, we have a question from Misty. She's leaving from Galveston on a cruise on Saturday, and she'd like to know how that might affect those plans.
Okay, so I'm just going to say, because I don't know if viewers can hear the question, but we have a viewer who is leaving for a cruise on Saturday, and they want to know, hey, am I going to make this cruise? Is it going to go on as planned?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the weekend right now back to normal. We're
Yeah.
talking partly cloudy skies, passing showers in the afternoon, very much what you would expect for late summer, although now we're transitioning into fall.
Yeah.
But, fall doesn't usually, half the time fall doesn't even show up. I mean, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Fall. So I think by the time we get to the weekend, we're back to hot and mostly dry conditions, a few passing showers, but I really think this is just an event over the next 3 days. We're talking Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay.
Few scattered storms on Friday and then drying out for the weekend.
Clear weekend.
So I think
Okay.
you'll be okay as you get ready to leave Galveston.
And then final question, we have a viewer, let me look up the name really fast.
Oh, good. We can hear you, Brandon. I'm sorry. I didn't
yeah.
realize you had a mic on. Uh-huh.
Deborah's wondering if it will approach the College Station area. We're going to get a lot on the coast, but inwards a little bit.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, I'm all for the inland areas.
Yeah.
I live, pretty north of Houston. So I think the further north you are away from the coast, I think the lighter those rain amounts are going to be. In fact, there's a reason why the National Weather Service did not issue a flash flood watch for those inland counties. So if you're watching from Brazos County, which is College Station, if you're watching from Brenham, which is Washington County, Huntsville, Walker County, the Woodlands, Montgomery County, Polk County, San Jacinto County, Trinity, Houston counties, all those areas to the north of Houston, you guys are not included in this flash flood watch. And the reason for that is the rain totals are expected to be quite a bit lighter north of I-10. Now, National Weather Service did say they may reconfigure this flash flood watch as things begin to unfold. We begin to see where the heavy rain is going to fall. Right now, it appears to be along and south of I-10, but if it's, we're talking 25 miles difference, now we're north of Houston, so we have to watch those areas carefully. But the whole area is dry.
Yeah.
Most of us should be able to absorb 6 to 8 inches of rain before we see too many problems around the area. So again, to reiterate my point, if you are north of Houston, Montgomery, Washington, Brazos, Walker, San Jacinto, Polk, Trinity, Houston counties, you are not in the flash flood watch. The reason why those rain totals are going to be quite a bit less than what we're going to see along the coast.
So a little bit of rain just to make your grass green again, but nothing to really worry about. Okay,
Yeah, my yard is crunchy, so
right.
I need some rain. Yeah,
absolutely.
Right.
Okay, thank you so much, Blake. Any other questions before we go? We let Blake go? Okay. You're working hard today.
We are all working hard today. We're all in the office. So.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. Thanks for the updates. He of course, Blake is going to keep you posted online as well. So let's talk about some other stories you guys are clicking on the KHOU 11 news page, our Facebook page, and all on our social media pages. Talking about is this the chase, Brandon? Is this what we're following first? Looks like the chase. Okay. This is pretty interesting, guys. A suspect is in custody after police say he led them on a chase across town and then jumped from a bridge onto the East-Tex freeway overnight. The suspect, the driver of the car, taken to the hospital Tuesday, and police say he likely broke his leg, but he already had a cast on the other leg prior to jumping off the bridge. This all started when an officer tried to pull that driver over near the East-Tex freeway and the 610 North Loop. He refused to stop and he tried to lose the officers. Police were trailing this driver as he went through downtown and then over Interstate 45 and Scott Street. He eventually crashed near Leland and Hamilton Streets. That's when the driver hopped out of the car and then jumped off the bridge onto the main lanes of the East-Tex. Once the suspect was down there, he was immobilized because he had a cast on one leg and he had broken the other. Police had to block the highway. Unfortunately, that man wasn't hit by any traffic down on the East-Tex, so a very lucky person this morning. He is facing charges ranging from evading arrest to possible driving while intoxicated. Officers say they found open beer cans and a pistol in his car. So that's one story that you guys found interesting this morning and that you're clicking on the KHOU website. Okay, let's talk about this other story. No one likes a porch pirate. Like, we all hate them. They're not nice people. Don't steal something that's not yours. But this is really interesting. There's a wrinkle in Texas's new package theft law that is, I'm losing the story here, guys. Hold on. That basically let these teenagers off the hook. This is an interesting story because it has to do with 4 teenagers. I believe they're all 14 years old. Let me pop this story up again so I make sure I'm telling you the right thing. But this is coming from the Montgomery County Precinct 2 Constable's office. The constable caught 4 14-year-olds on someone's porch in River Plantation. This happened on Saturday. So these teens opened the box, finding just a stuffed animal in there. They dumped the packages in the nearby woods, but they also dodged a trip to jail. So basically, the new law took effect on September 1st, but before that, there was no law specific to porch theft that existed. So as with property crimes, under the old law, those who were caught would do some time based on the value of what they stole. So for example, property stolen worth less than $2,500 was a misdemeanor. That means thieves would have to steal property worth more than $300,000 to be charged with first-degree felony theft. But the new state law counts the number of addresses targeted. So theft from 10 addresses is a state jail felony. A first-degree felony requires crimes at 50 addresses. However, if the thieves know their targets are disabled or elderly, those punishments obviously are a little bit worse. So in Montgomery County, in the teen's case, stealing 2 packages qualified as a Class A misdemeanor. So all 4 of those teens involved went home instead of to jail. And so, you know, the constable out there, not too thrilled about this, but this is a story that has a lot of you talking. So click on it on our KHOU 11 Facebook page and just kind of read through this law because it's very interesting. And some people think it's just not enough for porch pirates. All right, that's it for us. Again, the big story is weather, and that's what we will continue to follow throughout the day. And we'll be back here around 2:30 for another update news-wise. So we'll see you guys then. Thank you so much. Have a good morning. Be safe on the roadways.